I'm surprised to be in the company of Dr. Dugan and his longevity. But he brought back lots of memories about my childhood. We farmed with horses till I was 16. And one question that he brought up that I've never had answered. Before we had calcium to give cows, my dad pumped up a cow's udder one day, and she started to get up. And I was taught in vet school it was calcium that caused these cows to fall over dead when they suddenly do. This cow had no calcium. She made the effort to get up, and she fell dead instantly. No veterinarian, no professor has been able to tell me what happened. But it wasn't calcium that killed her. I want to thank the association and especially the surprise that I'm in the company of Dr. Dugan. But I'm going to go back a little bit in history and talk about my dad kind of pushed me to veterinary medicine. That was the extension of him not finishing 8th grade, so he always wanted to be a vet. So he provided the money for my last quarter of every year of my pre-vet. I could make enough money in the summer to get partway through, but I couldn't get that last quarter done. And my mom worked hard. She took jobs off of the farm. And I better get my glasses on so I can follow the notes here. Thanks to my parents certainly for becoming a veterinarian and for raising me in a way that I chose a wife that's been a life partner and very helpful in my practice. We've had a wonderful life together and have 4 wonderful children. Time changes. In 1931, in October, I was 3 months old. My folks started to town with a team and a wagon 14 miles away to buy the winter supplies. We lived in the Dust Bowl in Colorado. To give you an idea how much dust, they closed off all but one room in the house. My mom swapped 5 gallons of dust out of that one room 2 or 3 times a day during the spring. She says, I kept a blanket over your crib so you didn't breathe the dust. My dad had 2 close calls in life, and the sulfur drug actually saved his life in 1946. He got pneumonia and was delirious, couldn't get a doctor. It was after the war. There was no penicillin in civilian life at that time. The sulfur drug had been discovered in 1939 and came to America right during and after the war. And the doctor finally came to our house. The hospital was full and they wouldn't let my dad in the hospital. And our doctor came back from the European theater. He went away as a nice-looking, young, early 20s doctor. Came back 4 years later. He was white-headed. He died a year and a half later of a heart attack. So he essentially died in the battlefield too. He said, that's foolishness. They can't take him in the hospital. They used to call me up and say there's 500 more coming. They didn't ask me if we had room in the hospital. So lots of people probably gave their life that didn't go get the bullet in the war. So anyway, I'm not antibacterial, but I'm going to say a little bit about the way we've abused antibiotics. I went into the U.S. Army Medical Corps in 1953 and was trained as an OR technician there. And I saw doctors take open wounds and pour sulfur crystals in them to sew them up. It was still a miracle drug then. I didn't like it then, and I would like it a lot less now to see somebody put something in a nice clean wound and all they need was a stitch. We'll talk about some more later. Okay, I originally had a wonderful life as a practitioner. I remember when I was working day and night like we do, go to bed at 2 o'clock, get up at 5, go out to an old cold barn that the door wouldn't close on because the ice had frozen open and do a cesarean. But anyway, I enjoyed my work, and sometimes after we built our clinic, we lived upstairs. We kind of tried to keep it out. In the evening, somebody would come in with a case and I'd have a headache. If I went down and got busy doing my practice, the headache was cured. And so that's pretty nice to live a whole life of that career. What I want to say about antibiotics is we have abused them tremendously. They saved my life in 1955. I got an infection in my hand, and streaks are running up my arm, and the doctor says the guy that researched this a few years ago died in 6 hours after he got these same streaks up his arm. And the next day I was well. So penicillin is a miracle drug. But we use it prophylactically. I have read and done everything I can to find out if it really works prophylactically. I don't believe it does. We should use penicillin or any antibiotic when we have a fever. If you read the physiology of how a fever starts, it starts when the phagocytes attack the cell walls of the bacteria. That's what stimulates the fever. And we think the drugs are wonderful, and we're killing people with drugs all the time, not just antibiotics. But if we let the immune system start to work when the fever rises, penicillin and antibiotics don't have near as much to do. I used the example when I was trying to teach my students. You give a 16-year-old half a pint of whiskey, and he drinks it down, it'll kill him. But the old alkies used to catch rides with me when I was out making calls. You could give him that whole thing in one chug-a-lug, and it wouldn't affect him a bit. He was drinking Beauty Net, and he made my truck smell really good when I picked him up and he got in. But that's the way I feel about bacteria. If we kill them when they're multiplying and young, the antibiotics will be a lot better. That's my rant about antibiotics. Thank you.